Hi there, it's Sue here from PaperClip Professional Organisers. I'm back with you again because I wanted to let you know my 10 top tips on getting more organised. So let me start with number one. Number one is the one in, one out rule. And what that means is when you buy something new and you bring that into your environment, it's really important that you get something old out. So one in, one out. Because if you keep bringing things in and into your environment, that's what causes clutter. So always remember that mantra, one in and one out. Number two is the 8-minute blitz. Now an 8-minute blitz of doing anything in time, especially in organising, is really the best way to take control and do a quick job and get it done efficiently. We do an 8-minute blitz as a family after dinner every night. On goes the timer, we run around, do what we need to do, and often spend some time trying to beat the clock, which is really a lot of fun. So think about doing something like an 8-minute blitz after dinner, an 8-minute blitz cleaning up after, before you go off to bed, or even an 8-minute filing blitz. That way you get those jobs done quickly. And while I'm talking about big jobs, you know, really a big job is only a lot of little jobs put together. So don't feel overwhelmed, just work at one section at a time and in 8-minute blitzes. So there you go. My number three is containers, and more containers. Because containers are the way to keep yourself more organized. If you put things in containers and you put them away and label them, it looks a lot neater. The stuff is inside so you don't see a mess. And of course, you have your containers neatly set out. So any organizer's dream always is a good container. Number four, you know, when you can't make those decisions about releasing things out of your environment, and it's so difficult, I'll teach you something. Remember to ask this, the critical question. The critical question is, do I use it? Questions actually, do I use it? Do I need it? And do I love it? If you answer no to 2 out of those 3, then it needs to go. And when I say go, why not release it to somebody else? Because somebody else may now use, need and love that thing that's been sitting in your cupboard for how long? So really, that's a great one. Then we get to number 5. Number 5 is setting limits. In order to stop the stuff from coming in and overtaking and causing clutter in your environment, it's really important that you set some limits. And you can set limits by the space that you have, by number, or by date. And what I mean by that is, by space, we can talk about an area. So you set the limit by space. So you could say maybe you have a shelf for books. So choose just that one shelf for books. And the next time a book comes in, and you only want to keep your limit, remember? So use that mantra, the one in, one out rule. So a new book can come in, but an old book needs to be released and go out. So that would be your space. Then if you talk about number, make some decisions on how much you need of everything. How many pairs of shoes do you really need? Make a decision on that and stick with it. So next time you buy another pair of shoes, one in and one out. And then date. On date, we talk about numbers. So maybe you look at, you collect magazines. So what we'll do is we'll say, okay, I'm going to keep 12 months worth of magazines. So next time when January rolls along, the January one will go in and that December one will go out. So that's the way to do it. So it's, remember again, it's by space, by number, or by date. Set your limits, and I promise you, they'll set you free. Number 6, I'm going to talk about a few paperwork ones now. So number 6 is a place for paperwork to land. So you should always have somewhere where your paperwork can land, because you need to make sure that you have somewhere for it to go. Because often we'll walk into an environment and just dump it somewhere. So what you do need is to have an in tray. And in your in tray, you'll either put it at an entrance hall where you normally dump your paper, maybe it's on your kitchen counter, or it could be in your office. But put it somewhere where everybody in your household or in your business environment knows where it is, and everybody should put the paper there. Let's move on to number 7. Number 7 is the date stamp, and what I mean by that is date stamp every piece of paper that comes into your environment. Make sure that you stamp it at the top right hand corner, and you will always know when it came into your environment and if you've dealt with it, because you know when it came in. And another little hint is to always date stamp your business cards, because often we'll go to meetings, network meetings, etc. And if we don't date stamp those business cards, if we pick them up a little while later, whether it's a week, 2 weeks or a month later, If it doesn't have a date on, you may never remember where you met that person. So remember to date stamp your business cards too. Moving on to number 8. Number 8 is a really important one, and that is to make up an important documents folder. Think about this. Do you know where all your important documents are? Are they all in one place in your environment? If there was an emergency, would you be able to find them? And would you be able to locate them immediately so that you could use them? Those are 3 very important questions, aren't they? So I just suggest to you that you make sure that you gather up all your important documents all around your home and make sure that they're in one folder. And an extra tip for you there is make sure you make a certified copy of all of those too, and keep those in another environment off-site. So if there is an emergency and maybe a fire or something like that and you actually lose your originals, at least you've got a copy somewhere safe. Number 9, email overload. Don't we all have such a problem with emails? Just coming in all the time, not knowing what to do? I've got many different suggestions for dealing with email overload. But today, my main tip is this. Unsubscribe, unsubscribe, and unsubscribe again. You really don't need to have all of those newsletters coming in unless they're really serving a purpose or you're actually learning from them. So remember, that's a great way to stop your emails overloading you. And then number 10. 10 is last, but definitely not least, because the most important thing you need to do is schedule time to stay organized. And the only way that you can do that is scheduling time to keep organized. So you need to make time whenever you can to work on those areas again. When it comes to paperwork, a minimum of once a week is recommended to deal with your paperwork. And when it comes to your home environment and the areas that you've organized there, either seasonally, so if it would be clothing, for example, every season you can check and then you can reschedule and maintain it. Or otherwise, you can, of course, work on a 3-monthly basis or 6-monthly basis where you check the area that you organized. So there you go. Those are my top 10 tips for now. So I hope you enjoyed them. If you need to learn any more information, please click on the link below onto my website, and I would love to help you get more organized, because my job is to take you from overwhelmed to organized in easy and manageable steps that can definitely be maintained